Good afternoon, everybody. Today, we'll be playing a straight pickup of Seth's old Monogreen land destruction list. Kind of want to just test this out and see where maybe I can take the deck. So on today's Mad Meta Magic, where we try to make the Magic Meta mad, we'll be playing Monogreen land destruction. Basically, the intent is to plow under Primal Command, use Karn as a repeatable source of land destruction, Eternal Witness back those spells, use Arbor Elf, Utopia Sprawl to accelerate into them, and yeah, let's see what happens here. Take this into a modern league. My apologies for the camera quality being weird. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but something like caused me to get super washed out, and I played with the camera controls a bit, but I don't think I fixed it. So, alright, well I can't keep a no-lander. So we will mulligan. This is a turn 2 Trinisphere, which I think I can get behind. We have Beast Within to help back it up. We can follow that up with a Primal Command. So we are going to keep this. I'm going to put back... Actually, I think I'm going to put back Beast Within. Opponent starts... Temple Garden Oh, tapped. Okay, Temple Garden tapped. We untap, draw Plow Under, play Forest, play Noble Hierarch. They might walk into this the first time, but I've got a feeling that every time after that they will not. Pass the turn. Alright. Opponent's second turn. They untap, play a Forest, and play Soccer Tribe Elder. Sure. We untap. So I think this is Green-White Titan. Play Castle Garenbrig and Trinisphere. Pass the turn. Next turn we can play a 3-mana Arbor Elf. Okay. Opponent untaps. Plays a Cavern of Souls. We probably are going to play a Dryad here, which would kind of ruin our day, because just being able to play multiple lands a turn makes it really difficult to beat with one land destruction spell a turn, as an example. They name Cleric. Interesting. 3 mana, they play a Tireless Tracker. And they hit us for 1. Sure. We untap. Draw Forest. So play a Forest. Play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent sacks Soccer Tribe Elder. They get a Snow-Covered Plains, which gives them a clue. Untap. They hit us for 3. No blocks. Okay, we untap. We draw Eternal Witness. Problem is if we plow under, they just redraw their lands this turn. I mean, I still think that's probably what we do here, right? So play a Forest. Go ahead and plow under Cavern and Temple. Opponent could just float mana and redraw both of them, though. So we're not really delaying our opponent here. And it's all because of Tireless Tracker. Alright, they crack Wooded Foothills. They get another Temple Garden. Probably tapped. Untapped, okay. Yep. Okay, Plow Under puts the lands on top after they float mana. And they draw a card. We will attack for 2. And our opponent casts Eladamri's Call. Or Eladamri's Call. Never gonna get that right. Ever. See what they reveal. Honestly, it's probably just like Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Because how do we possibly beat that? I think to have made a critical error in deck choice without an answer for such a creature. Ooh, Skyclave Apparition. Okay. Opponent untaps. They're going to play Skyclave Apparition, hitting Trinisphere. Okay. Attack us for 4. Nothing we can do about it. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana currently. They play a Temple Garden untapped and get a clue. Play an Elvish Reclaimer. We untap, draw forest, play a forest. I think what we're going to do is plow under a land and tutor up a creature. And I kind of want to get Walking Ballista, but I don't think that's correct here. I think Acidic Slime is probably our best bet because it discourages our opponent from attacking. And I am going to attack my opponent with an Arbor Elf here. I don't expect that they're going to block. Okay. Opponent untaps, draws the Temple Garden we put on top. Opponent decides to start by attacking, that's fine. Gets us down to 5. Then plays something that costs 3 mana. The Zondu Mammoth. Interesting, okay. We untap, draw an Arbor Elf. So we're going to add 6 mana for creature spells. Start with Acidic Slime. Slime away the Temple Garden. Then we can play Eternal Witness or we can play Arbor Elf. I feel like I really want to play Eternal Witness, but I'm not sure if I live, because if we block there, we need something to chump, which we can chump with Eternal Witness. We'll take 3, go to 2. They lose Tireless Tracker, but keep everything else. I think I actually have to play Arbor Elf, which feels really bad here, because I would much rather not have to like double block Spirit Skyclave Apparition here, but I think I have to. And if my opponent has removal, I think I'm just done here. So opponent should start with the Temple Garden they drew, or Plains. Okay. So Kazandu Mammoth gets bigger. Kind of cool. This is like a Titan Toolbox, but it's also landfall aggro with Kazandu Valley. Alright. Well, no amount of plow under is going to help here. So in order to live, we have to block, take 3. Alright, we untap. We draw Eternal Witness. Like, I could play 2 Eternal Witnesses, but I don't think that helps. So, play an Eternal Witness. Pick up Arbor Elf. Play Eternal Witness. Pick up Primal Command. Then play Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. If we can block and kill Skyclave Apparition and chump our opponent's other creatures, we should be fine. I'm gonna crack Seclude to draw. We need a Primal Command to probably gain life and creature tutor, but we need to have some kind of blocker left over. Tireless Tracker is really what's beating us here. Is the fact that our opponent was able to immediately undo that plow under. Okay, Elvish Reclaimer is now big enough that it's going to be a problem. Okay. We're dead to any removal. And I think I have to top deck, like, or I have to, yeah, I think I have to top deck Hornet Queen. I don't even think I can tutor for it. So block here, chump the rest. Okay, we get an illusion. Then we untap. We draw Karn, Great Creator. Oh, and we're at 6. We were 1 away from getting an Ensnaring Bridge here. So we have to gain 7 life and tutor for a creature. So we go and get Hornet Queen. Pass the turn. Leave the illusion back to block. I'm gonna crack Seclude to draw another card. Okay, I'm gonna crack Seclude to draw. They play a Windswept Teeth, and that's lethal, because no matter what we block now, we take fatal damage. Okay. So versus Green-White Titan Toolbox. probably want another Beast Within, because just changing it out for a different creature is probably better. Plow Under felt really bad there, but that's only because of Tireless Tracker. So I'm going to swap that. I think I want Repudiate Replicate because my opponent is playing a lot of fetch lands. So I'm going to keep that in. Alright, we'd love to play first. Being on the play is a huge, huge advantage for this deck. Alright, this is a good hand. This is a turn 2 Acid Moss or Trinisphere, provided that Arbor Elf survives. So this is kind of the ideal circumstance. We start Forest, Arbor Elf, pass the turn, and we have it on the play. So opponent starts Plains, passes, we untap, they path Arbor Elf on our upkeep. Okay, we get a Forest. We draw Eternal Witness, so play Castle Garenbrig, play Utopia Sprawl on Forest, naming green, and then the question is, do I play out the Walking Ballista on one? I think I'm going to. Pass the turn. Hopefully our opponent does not cast a ramp spell here. Okay, they play a Forest, and they pass. We untap, draw an Arbor Elf. So we're going to go ahead and Moanvuli, Acid Moss, the Forest. Opponent probably casts an Eladamri's Call here. Okay, get a Forest. Go to combat, attack for 1. Opponent untaps. Plays a Wooded Foothills, cracks Wooded Foothills, and finds a Temple Garden, untapped, to play a Gaddock Teague. Okay. Well, we can kill Teague with Walking Ballista. It just takes a lot of mana to do it. Okay. Utopia Sprawl, the same Forest. Name green. Play an Arbor Elf. And I think I play Trinisphere here. Hopefully Ballista does not get pathed. Though it would take all of my opponent's mana to do that. Okay, opponent plays a Flagstones. Casts a Springbloom Druid, sacking Flagstones. So they're going to get a whole bunch of lands. Instead of going 1 land positive, they are now 2 lands positive. Okay, they get a Scattered Groves as well. They attack for 2. We could just double block, but that limits our mana next turn. I think it's better to actually add a counter to Ballista and kill Gaddock Teague than it is to double block it here. Okay, we drew a Forest. So play a Forest. Put a counter on Ballista. Untap this Forest. Put a counter on Ballista. Play Eternal Witness. Get back Acid Moss. And now we pass. I don't think they have any spells that are CMC4 or greater that are non-creature. But it's possible that Gaddock Teague prevents them from playing a spell for a turn, so it's, I think, technically correct to kill Gaddock Teague at their end step, even though I don't think it's actually correct. I really doubt that our opponent has anything that they would keep themselves off of with Teague. Okay, here comes Prime Time. Yep, that's a problem. We're a land destruction deck, and we can't beat a deck that cheats on lands. That feels really bad. So what are our outs? Our outs are like Karn into Ensnaring Bridge, which we would have enough mana to play. I'm gonna go ahead and kill Teague now. Alright, we untap. We draw Primal Command. So Primal Command, we can tutor for a creature. let's see. We would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, so we can't go get Hornet Queen because we don't have enough mana for that. I guess Acidic Slime is probably our best bet if we're going to tutor for a creature. So Plow Under, Field of the Dead. Could also just get a Eternal Witness to pick up Primal Command again, but I don't think that's good. So we're going to go with Acidic Slime. Untap our Sprawled Land. Play Slime. Take out their other Field of the Dead. Okay, pass the turn. No attacks. Opponent untaps. I don't know why they didn't just sack Blast Zone. I mean, other than the fact that Titan's like winning them the game. I feel like I should be playing Titan in this deck. It feels like our one trick of destroying land destruction is not good in this matchup. And that our opponent's deck is like similar to our deck, but just better in most ways, which sucks. Come on. Oh, I see what it is. It's the door being open. Light coming in from the outside. Does that fix it? That does not fix it. Well then. I guess we'll have to deal with the green spot here for a minute. Okay. But it gets a whole bunch more zombies. So we're going to try and block and kill Primeval Titan. Block and kill to prevent a zombie from dealing a little bit of damage. But we basically have to hit Karn off the top. Otherwise we lose. We untap. Draw Beast Within. So I'm going to Acid Moss. Doesn't really matter now, does it? I can't put enough counters on Ballista to do anything. I can Acid Moss any of their lands. That doesn't really do anything. Yeah, alright. We'll go to round 2. That's unfortunate. I was just thinking to myself, oh yeah, I hope I don't run into decks with flagstones in them, because that might be a little more difficult, even though we're plow undering instead of straight up land destruction sometimes. Alright, no lands, can't keep. It's not amazingly fast, but we can at least play an Acid Moss on turn 3. I'm gonna keep. If we top deck an Arbor Elf, we can play it on turn 2, which would be really good. I feel like that's the problem right now with this deck. The issue is the fastest you can cast a land destruction spell is on turn 2, and that's only with your best hand, which is Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl nonsense. And the deck has no backup way to do that. If it did, it might actually stand a chance. So Utopia Sprawl on green, pass the turn. The good news is we can probably deal with burn, especially burn that mulligan to 5. Like Primal Command can gain us a bunch of life. Goblin Guide hopefully draws us a bunch of lands. Okay, Eternal Witness on top, so we can play Eternal Witness as a blocker here, because we're not doing anything else on 3 mana. They light up the stage. Okay, draw Eternal Witness, play the forest they know about. Play Eternal Witness. Pass the turn. When it plays the Swift Spear, plays a Bloodstained Mire, cracks Bloodstained Mire, gets a mountain, and 2 mana, Searing Blaze, that's somehow better than Lava Spike. Okay, they attack us for 6. Stampeding Sarrow on top. Go to 5. We untap, draw Stampeding Sarrow. So we're 1 mana off, so we have to play Stampeding Sarrow to block, even though it will bounce itself, because it's the only way we stay alive this turn. And then we have to Primal Command, gaining life, and tutor. They sack Sunbaked Canyon to draw. They go to combat and attack, revealing Acid Moss. So we block a Goblin Guide, because we basically have to hope they don't have a burn spell. If they have a burn spell, we die to anything. They have a Shard Volley, okay? So we bring in Obstinate Baloths, and we're going to go down Walking Ballista, and probably a Repudiate Replicate. We have to keep a hand with a Dork in it, at least. This might work. It's still sketchy. I don't want a mulligan, though. Beast Within is like extra sketchy because giving burn an additional creature for the low cost of playing land seems bad, but maybe we can nab a creature that's like dangerous and just fog it for a turn. I don't know. Okay. So we start Forest, Utopia Sprawl. Name green. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent starts Bloodstained Mire, fetches, gets a Blood Crypt. Suspends a Rift Bolt. Okay. We draw Eternal Witness. So play a Forest, and on their upkeep, I'm going to Beast within their land. It does give them a 3/3. And it does give them the opportunity to use the mana, but it does not let them swing with the Beast this turn. They bolt us. They lose their land. They are a low land count deck, so hopefully they don't just have like running lands the entire game. Okay. They play a Swift Spear, they get in for 1. We take 1, we go to 13, and untap. Land. Plow Under. Okay. Play Eternal Witness. Pick up Beast Within. Pass the turn. They play a Lava Spike, so Eternal Witness is no longer able to trade with Swift Spear. Block the Beast, take 2, go to 8. We draw Primal Command, and I think that's it. Wow. So what I'm learning is Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl, while it is one of the few ways in Modern to get 4 mana on turn 2, is not even like a viable mana engine anymore, because they always have removal for the 1-drop. It's too inconsistent because there's only one Arbor Elf effect. Like, we're against a Yorion deck. Okay. I think we're going to have to, if I'm going to try and play Monogreen Control, I think I'm going to have to go with a completely different build, because this is just completely outclassed. Which is kind of sad, because this deck for a long time was like a kind of a tier 2 meme deck sort of a thing. I'm going to keep this because we can at least play the cards in our hand. We know we'll be able to. And if my opponent's playing Yorion, odds are they're not going to just kill us on turn 3. They're going to try and control the game a little bit more. They start with a Plains into a Giver Rune. So this is Yorion Taxes, which might actually cause us problems. We draw another Utopia Sprawl. So start Sprawl on green. We have to kind of hope for no Arbiter. No Arbiter Ghost Quarter. Field would be fine. It's unlikely they have it because they are an 80 card deck, but it's not impossible because they obviously run it. There's the Ghost Quarter. And they just sack it immediately. Ugh. That was like getting strip mined. They didn't even have to work for it. Draw another Forest, so play a Forest. Still going to Utopia Sprawl on green. We'd like to untap with 3 mana. That's the other thing, is with the prevalence of Ghost Quarter and Field, like, Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl got better as the game went on because you could put more and more Utopia Sprawls on the same land to make it super powerful, like untap, and you'd start untapping with like 3 extra mana or 4 extra mana, which would then be doubled to like, 6 or 8. But it plays a Field, gets in for 1. Take 1, we go to 18. They pass, we draw. Forest. Play Forest. And like, it's kind of like the Simic Ponza list I played on stream the other day. Acid Moss, Annex, anything that puts your opponent down a land and you up a land is really powerful. Opponent might be pathing their own creature, yeah. They're gonna just stay on the same mana. It's really powerful. The problem is, it doesn't like... It's way too slow for this current metagame, I think. I think if I'm going to play a deck like this, I might have to find a build that I can set up a consistent Chalice on turn 1. And we draw Repudiate, Replicate. Play a Forest. I think I'm going to Acid Moss this turn again. Because like when you get to this position where your opponent voluntarily sacked a land and then you're destroying every land that they play, yeah, that's great. And like now we'll be able to Karn and Trinisphere, and then what's our opponent going to do about it? then there's like no way we lose from that position. So play a forest. Play Karn. Go ahead and wish. Get 3-ball. Play 3-ball. Pass the turn. And I think Stampeding Sero, Acidic Slime has been ambitious since the combo, quote-unquote, was discovered. But I don't think it was ever good. Okay, we're going to wish. And this time we're going to get Liquid Metal Coating. Play Forest, play Coating. Game is over. Alright, so versus Yorian Taxes. I'm just going to run it back. Alright. I feel like we're going to get Ghost Quartered out of the game with this, but we can at least play a Beast Within early. Not that I'm sure we want to do that. I think I'm actually going to mulligan this and see if we can't get an Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl style hand. Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl, 2 forests, and a 4-drop is what we want. Maybe I should be mulliganing all the way to 5 to try and find that. Okay, well, 2 lands, 2 dorks, and a Karn is pretty good. Okay, opponent plays Plains. Into a Giver. We draw a Forest, play Forest into Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Horizon Canopy. And a Thalia. And Thalia makes our life miserable. Okay, we draw another Forest. So play a Forest, play Noble. Pass the turn. Next turn we will be able to play Karn. And we're probably going to have to go get Ensnaring Bridge, actually, and hope our opponent doesn't have an answer to that for a while. Something we can use to draw out the game for a bit. Okay, opponent plays a Field of Ruin. Attacks us for 2. No blocks. We untap. Draw a Forest. So, play Castle. They might field us now, actually. Okay. Oh, and Ensnaring Bridge isn't even good versus Death and Taxes anymore because all they're going to do is they're going to play Skyclave Apparition and we're going to have a bad time. Alright, in that case, I need to be wishing for like a Wormcoil Engine. Let's get a Wormcoil. Pass the turn. They flash in Mind Sensor. Okay. So now they're going to field us to take us off of 2 mana because they can take Garenbrig here. And if we don't find a land, we will not be able to cast a Wormcoil Engine. Okay, we do find a land, thankfully. But if my opponent has a path, we can still... the potential still exists for us to have a bad time. And Wormcoil may not even do it because of Giver of Runes, actually. Giving their creatures protection from colorless to just infinitely chump block. So they attack and kill Karn. Okay. Karn down. We untap. I'm trying to think of what helps here. Primal Command does. Sort of. We draw another Karn. We're going to try playing out Wormcoil. Moto is lagging so bad. Ugh. I wish they'd fix this memory leak. They've had it on and off throughout the time that I've played Moto, so throughout its history, but for the majority of the time, you used to be able to go pretty long without having to do any client restarting. Play a Wormcoil. Pass the turn. We might have to play Karn and get Sorcerer's Spyglass, which is just a name giver. Or, go get, what's it called? Walking Ballista. When plays Plains, plays a Phyrexian Revoker, so they can name Karn Great Creator. That's bad. One of the attacks for 2 in the air. Sure. We untap. We draw. Kind of looking for Hornet Queen now. Eternal Witness. Eternal Witness doesn't do much here. Play a Forest. Eternal Witness. We can pick up Castle. Yeah, but we can't attack. I mean, we can, but they just tap Giver of Runes, and then that doesn't give us a good blocker. Alright, opponent plays Militia Bugler to get another Revoker. Play Silent Clearing and get in for 2. Even if I had tutored for Walking Ballista, I guess that would have been better because my opponent would have been able to name Walking Ballista, and we probably would still be able to do stuff with Karn. Alright, we'll play Castle Garenbrig. So let's gain 7 life and tutor up Hornet Queen. Oh, never mind. I guess we can't do that. But hey, we didn't have a creature in our top 4. I think that was still probably the correct mode to pick. Was the Search Your Library one. Because plowing under 1 land doesn't do anything here. Like plowing under and shuffling in, I think, doesn't do anything to our opponent at all. They sack Silent Clearing to draw, and then play a Plains. Okay. They Revoker Walking Ballista. Play Giver. Attack us for 2. We take 2. Go to 19. We untap. We draw Stampeding Sarrow. Alright. Oh, we can keep picking up Eternal Witness now, for as long as this remains. Which means we can continually Primal Command now. Okay, pass the turn. Alright, I'm going to restart the client. Okay, opponent's turn. Okay. Opponent plays a Skyclave Apparition, killing Stampeding Sarrow, so there will be no Eternal Witness Primal Command loop. Opponent attacks us for 2, sure. We untap, draw Karn, play out Karn. Can't do anything with it, so pass the turn. Honestly, I think mono blue Boomerang with Karn is probably better than mono green Land Destruction with Karn. Simply because in blue, we at least have some interaction early. Like, if you were to play mono blue Bounce with Karn as like your finisher, you would at least be able to, on turns where it mattered, how do I want to say this? Starting on turn 2, with no Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl shenanigans, you could bounce a land and your opponent would have to replay it. Then, oh, do they have 2? They have 2. I didn't see that they had a second Giver of Runes. I kind of stopped paying attention. Alright, going to game 3. Starting on turn 2, you'd be able to bounce lands in mono blue bounce with Karn, and then use Karn to like keep them off of lands forever. The problem is, with mono green, the only way that we could just do something that early is with Acid Moss after Arbor Elf and Utopia Sprawl. So it's a 3-card combo as opposed to 2 islands and a card. And we'd have to have at least a forest and 2 green producing lands. So, yeah, I'm just going to run it back. We'll play first. Okay, that's a mulligan. That's a mulligan. This hand is less than ideal, but keepable. So I think we put back Castle Garenbrig and an Eternal Witness. We start Noble Hierarch. We start Forest Noble Hierarch, getting into a Trinisphere next turn, and kind of hoping my opponent does not have some kind of Aether Vial start. It's not likely because they are playing Eorian deck, but it is possible. Okay, resolves, so pass to our opponent's turn. Come on, land nothing. Aether Vial, of course. I jinxed it. My bad, everybody. Draw Walking Ballista, play Castle Garenbrig, play Trinisphere, pass the turn. Freaking Aether Vial. When it plays an island and passes, we draw Beast Within. Alright, well, even though it starts the beats early, We're going to Beast Within now. Get them back down to playing only one spell a turn, and if and only if they have a third land, which they may not because they had an Aether Vial start. So, like, Noble Hierarch is good enough to get us to Trinisphere, and so is Utopia Sprawl. But, like, now if I top deck Utopia Sprawl, I'm still a mana away from Primal Command. And opponent plays a Ghost Quarter, and they have Skyclave Apparition, so they can take out Trinisphere. They hit us for 3, we go to 17, untap. Draw Acid Moss, which doesn't do anything. Pass the turn, no attacks. Okay. When it goes to combat, attacks for 5. No blocks, we go to 12. Alright, and they've got Arbiter Ghost Quarter. I'm gonna go ahead and concede, because we needed land and we didn't get it. Alright. 0-3, I'll see you guys in round 4. Alright, round 4, here we go. Alright, we got a Utopia Sprawl into a Trinisphere, into Karn. That might be pretty good. We are on the draw, though, so it's probably significantly worse than it could be. But that's the other thing. I feel like this deck has serious issues with going on the draw. Like, it really, really wants to be on the play. And I know there are a lot of decks like that, but other decks have... they have better lines. They have alternative lines for on the play than on the draw. Or on the draw rather than on the play. And this deck has one line no matter whether it's on the play or draw. And it seems bad regardless. So I really think, like, if you're going to build a deck like this, you should definitely build the, like, blue bounce version that plays similarly. But the mono-green control list, mono-green land destruction control is not really a deck right now. Okay, opponent attacks us for 2. We untap. Play Castle Garenbrig. Play Karn. Go ahead and Wish. Get Wormcoil Engine. Pass the turn. Next turn we can Plow Under. This will be our first sweet Plow Under of the whole match. Nice. Okay. Baloth's in. Repudiates out. Try it like this. So Repudiate Replicate as an early land destruction spell is like a 2-mana Stifle or Squelch or Shadow of Doubt is nice. It does work. The problem in mono green is everything else you have to play, you play at sorcery speed with the exception of Beast Within, of which this deck only runs 1. So Repudiate Replicate is not great. Plus, if you're playing it in the Torrential Gearhulk version, then you're doing real shenanigans. So maybe that's what we do. We build mono blue, bounce, squelch, Shadow of Doubt, Torrential Gearhulk, Replicate. That sounds like a fun deck. That's the deck I'm going to build after this one, I think. Alright, well, we've got the hand that does the Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl thing. The problem is Lava Dart is now a spell. Opponent did mulligan to 6, starting land Swift Spear, hitting us for 1. That's fine. We untap. Play a forest. Play Arbor Elf. We really need to top deck a forest. Okay, opponent crash throughs, drawing a card, playing a mountain, bolts the Arbor Elf, hits us for 3, draw a forest, play a forest, Utopia Sprawl Forest on green, play Arbor Elf, pass the turn. Now we need to top deck a land if Arbor Elf dies. Okay, Lava Spike our face, gets in for 2, no blocks. We untap, draw Acidic Slime, tap, untap, tap, play Baloth, gain 4, pass the turn. Next turn we could, like, unsummon... Awesome! We won a match! We won a match versus Mono Red. Not bad. I'll see you guys in round 5. Alright, round 5, here we go. See if we can get half our entry back. I mean, it's a Beast Within. Let's try and mulligan and see if we can't get something a little faster. This might technically count. Put back Stampeding Sero. When it starts Ancient Ziggurat, meaning they are almost certainly humans. Yep. Okay. We draw Arbor Elf. So, start Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent plays a Ziggurat. Probably a Thalia's Lieutenant. It's actual Thalia, right? That's annoying. Take it in for 2. Sure. No blocks. We untap and draw a Mwanvuli Acid Moss. So play a Forest, play Noble Hierarch, pass the turn. Next turn we can cast Acid Moss, or we can cast Karn. I think it's better to cast Acid Moss, though. My hair looks so weird. Kind of looks like I have a bald spot, but it's just a weird part from this angle. Alright, opponent plays Meddling Mage. What do you name? Prime Time! If they name Acid Moss, I'll be a little bit upsetty. Utopia Sprawl. Okay. Oh, we're not holding one, so that's fine with me. Opponent hits us for 5, no blocks. We go to 13. Untap. Okay, now I'm upset. Play Castle Garenbrig. Acid Moss, Cavern of Souls, because they can use that to play like the 2 non-creature spells they have in their entire deck. Get a Forest. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays an Island. Plays a Reflector Mage. Probably should bounce Noble, but okay. Get in for 8, we go to 5. They did not attack. I think that was a mistake. That's 6 green mana. Oh, we can't even replay Arbor Elf, never mind. Play Noble Hierarch. Play Eternal Witness. Pick up Acid Moss. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an Unclaimed Territory, naming Human. Thalia's Lieutenant, pump the whole team. They swing out. So block there. And Thalia plus Meddling Mage prevents us from, like, Karn getting... what on earth do they have that they can flash for 2 mana on our draw step? Okay. Yep. We cannot go get Ensnaring Bridge. Alright. I think we just run it back. I don't think we make any adjustments here. Alright. We'll play first. Nope. Nope. Alright. Put back Hornet Queen, Repudiate, Replicate. Start Forest, Arbor Elf. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Cavern of Souls, naming Human. And Noble Hierarch. Yep, Noble Hierarch. We untap, we draw Castle Garenbrig, number 3. Play Castle, pass the turn. No attacks. I guess I could have, but not really a reason to. Opponent plays a Horizon Canopy. Do you see this face? This is my I knew this was going to happen face. They take Karn and all of our hopes and dreams, and they attack for 1. No blocks. Come on, Acid Moss. Primal Command, which is 1 mana too many right now. Pass the turn. Alright, they Mantis Rider us for 4. We draw an Arbor Elf. Play Castle Garenbrig. I think what we're going to do is put Waterlogged Grove on top of their deck, search for a creature. We are going to try and get Walking Ballista. Cast a big, huge Walking Ballista this turn. Alright, opponent plays a Horizon Canopy. Meddling Mage, they're going to name Walking Ballista. Ugh. I think our opponent has it here. Walking Ballista is like our one way to interact with the board that isn't lands. So that's the other thing, is this deck feels like it just it cannot interact with the board other than blowing up lands, and it's not fast enough blowing up lands to stop its opponent from getting on board. So this deck is all around not really viable at the moment. And may never have been. Alright, well, at the very least, we're going to cast a Plow Under Enrage. You put those Horizon Canopies on top of your deck. And think about the shame of playing humans. Alright. Okay. So, what I'm going to do here, let's take a minute and look at what like a boomerang version of this would look like. Because I like the idea, and I kind of miss being able to play it. Oh, where is it? Okay. So this is what a mono green version of this list looks like. Let's see what a mono blue version looks like. First, we're going to need a number of islands. What? I don't know what filter I had set. Probably a couple Mystic Sanctuaries, because we're all islands. Then one, we'll say Gemstone Cavern. Okay. So, instead of our Acid Moss situation, we need Boomerang. Repudiate Replicate now becomes an actual land destruction spell for us. Into, we don't need 1 mana acceleration any longer. So we can actually slot those out for more boomerangs. Now the issue becomes drawing enough cards to continually boomerang your opponent's lands. Which means, so now we need the big payoff spells were Primal Command and Plow Under and Acidic Slime. So now what we need is our big payoff spells being like Cryptic Command and what's the other one? Torrential Gear Hulk is going to be great here. Torrential Gear Hulk actually is like it's a win condition because you can Repudiate, Replicate, get a bunch back. You can chain it into a Cryptic Command, which would be amazing. Stampeding Arrow is just like a combo piece. So Hornet Queen was also a payoff spell. So we need some buyback now. Because that was what Eternal Witness was about. Eternal Witness was about buying back spells that went to the grave, right? So we need some 3 mana, 3 mana land destruction, so that's our wipe away. We'll cut those and do, let's see, we need some good card advantage. I think this is an Ancestral Visions deck. The alternative being, the alternative to this would be playing something like Dictate of Kruphix. And I think playing Dictate of Kruphix is not where you want to be. We can then, for like our final spells, we can do something like Hieroglyphic Illumination. Because that is a 1 mana cantrip that is also, it's also like potentially castable for more mana. You can draw more cards, and probably fit it up with Gear Hulk. And honestly, now that I'm looking at this deck, I think I would cut maybe a couple of Illuminations and run 2 extra islands. I think. And I think this is what this deck, highlighted here, will behave like the deck we were just playing, but will be more effective. And then out of the sideboard, you can keep exact same wishboard and just run things like Spell Pierce, Force and Negation, or actually something like Mystical Dispute, Aether Gust, and then Force. So you have a deck that looks something like this. And this will get you relatively the same feeling as that mono green deck we just played, but without with the ability to interact earlier and in a more meaningful way. In fact, actually what might even be better than this is to do like, you could drop Walking Ballista and run a Frost Titan. You could drop like hieroglyphic illuminations and run Annex, but I think this is what you probably want to play something around this for a similar feeling to what we were playing, but with the ability to interact on an axis that matters in the current modern metagame. So I'm sorry that the deck underperformed, but this is what I hope that this like deck building session at the end here kind of makes up for it a little bit. I can play this list on stream if that's what people want to see, but unfortunately, I was looking to plow under some people, and it really didn't pan out, unfortunately. So if you like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch, same username over there as you find me on here. There's also a link in the description to the Discord, which will give you notifications on when I'm streaming next. Kind of an odd stream schedule due to Thanksgiving coming up, so keep an eye out. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!